do my best to post the recordings of all of the lectures to my YouTube channel. So can everybody see? Why can't I minimize that? This shouldn't be like that. Okay, so I want to go in here. All right, so can everybody see the syllabus right now? Can you just type it in the chat if you can see it and hear me? Okay, great. So let's get started. It's 8:04. I think most people are here by now. And like I said, I do my best to post the recordings of everything that I do to my YouTube channel. However, since the class is synchronous, I make no promises about that. But again, I always do my best. And if I ever miss something, well, I've taught the class this method enough times now that there's several playlists on my YouTube channel, and I'll post a link to some of those today, so you could always go and refer to those if you need to. So let's see here, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday from 8 to 11:30. So let me address the times first for this class, because if you look at a regular semester of organic chemistry, it's something like 168 hours that we spend in class. And if you do the math for what I have planned for the summer, which is 3.5 hours of lecture 3 times a week times 8 weeks, you can see that I have way too much time allotted. It's about an hour of extra class time each day. And so the reason why I do that is because it's the summertime and nobody wants to listen to me lecture for 2.5 hours straight or 2 hours straight. So what we do is we'll take breaks here and there. And so that will just give us a little bit of, kind of breather time and time for me to catch my breath, of course. So again, don't plan on going to 11:30 every day. Some days we'll end, maybe around 10, some days around 10:30, something like that. And also, I know that probably none of you have taken organic chemistry with me before, but if you look at the regular schedule, like for the fall or for the spring, I also have class time allotted for quizzes. So that takes time away as well. So what I'm saying again is that we will not be spending 3.5 hours a day in class. It will be less than that, okay? Again, it's way too much time that I have allotted for the class, but the reason I did it is so that we can take breaks and that kind of stuff. So just starting off with a little message at the beginning of the syllabus, it says my name and everything, and that the way that we do this class is using this high flex modality. So it's a synchronous lecture. However, it is remote, so you can, travel wherever you want over the summer. I have the dates incorrect here. It should say from May 15th to July 6th. But anyhow, and like I said, I do my best to post all of the lectures to my YouTube channel. And again, I will post a link to that so you can go in and find those. And so what you're going to need in order to complete this class is you have to have a reliable internet connection. If you don't have the internet, it'd be very difficult. Also, because we're taking our quizzes using Respondus Lockdown Browser, you need to have a good, reliable internet connection to take those as well. Computer with webcam, I think that's kind of a no-brainer at this point if you're online. Also, a printer is necessary, and the reason why is because sometimes I might give you a paper quiz, so to speak, or a quiz in PDF format that you can print and then fill out and scan. So the reason why I like to, and you're like, well, why would you give me a handwritten assignment, on a class that's taken over the summer, using this high flex modality? The reason why is because in order to master the content in organic chemistry, you have to put pen to paper. It's impossible, and I mean it would be impossible to master the content in this class without using a pencil and paper at some point along the way. And the reason why is because we focus on what are called mechanisms, which is a demonstration of the movement of electrons during chemical reactions. And you have to be able to draw curved arrows that show the movement of those electrons. In fact, organic chemistry is largely the study of the flow of electrons. And so again, I'm repeating myself, but you've got to put pen to paper in this class in order to master the content. So I give a little blurb about that there. So the whole introduction here, Organic Chemistry 1, is designed to help students discover all these different things here. Well, where it says 12 to 15 hours a week outside of class, now this is what we say for the normal 16-week semester. And so you could essentially almost double this, I would say, for the summer semester. And if you're thinking, oh, wow, that's insane. Well, Organic chemistry is a big time commitment. There's no way around it. I've taught it many times for many years, and I've seen many students be highly successful in the course. And the best way to be successful, or one of the best ways, is to have that time committed to the course. It's a very difficult class to pass if you're studying a few hours before or something. Yeah, you have to have a little bit of organic chemistry in your life every day. It's a lot easier than a bunch of organic chemistry the night before a quiz or something like that. And also, since the summer moves on so quickly, you want to stay on top of things at all times. Anyhow, you can always contact me by email. You can actually negate this phone number. They took my phone away from my office, so you can just scratch that off. I don't have a phone in my office. In fact, they got rid of all the phones in the chemistry department except for the admin. But you can always contact me by email, and I do my best to respond within 24 hours. Don't use the messaging feature on Canvas. That thing is just terrible. So just use my email. Make sure you tell me what class you're in when you email me, because I am teaching several courses this summer. So for course outcomes, it says you're going to learn how to draw structures and all these different things in here. So I'm going to let you take the time to read that on your own, what the course outcomes are. And then for the materials, we have electronic access to our textbook. And so all you have to do is go into Canvas, and you should have access to the textbook already. Can anybody type in the chat if they've accessed the textbook already? Has anybody accessed the textbook yet? Yeah, okay. I kind of figured that most people had. So has anybody, okay, well, let me ask you another question then. Has anybody purchased the solutions manual yet? Has anybody purchased it? It costs $15. You do have to spend the $15 to get the solutions manual. Okay, Sarah. So one person says get the solutions. Anybody else besides Sarah? Get this? Yeah, okay, great. Kyle's got it. Sweet. So look, let me tell you something, my friends. Again, I've been teaching this class for a long time, and I would say it would be borderline impossible to maximize your grade without the solutions manual. The solutions manual, I've been a teacher for quite a while now. It's probably the best solutions manual I've ever seen in my life. It is written by the author of the textbook, David Klein. And it is just a remarkable solutions manual. It doesn't just provide the answers, it provides worked out solutions to the problems, which are so well done. So I highly recommend buying that today. Do not hesitate. As soon as class is over, I would buy that immediately. All right, so you have access to the textbook. That's free. But I would highly recommend spending the $15 immediately and buying the solutions manual. Again, it's the best solutions manual I've ever seen in my life. So if you're wondering, how do I access the textbook? If you go into our class, and I'm looking in instructor view right now, so if I click on student view, it won't work for me, but it should work for you. If you click on Wiley Course Resources on the left-hand side, you should be able to access the textbook from there. And if you're wondering, where is he getting this document that he's reading today? Well, you can see the syllabus and schedule are here. I have links to the homework. And what we're going to begin today is chapter 1. So you can see that I have the whole slide deck posted here, the chapter 1 lecture notes. And I've even gone through the textbook and looked at every single practice problem in the textbook. And you can see all the in-chapter and end-of-chapter problems that I recommend doing. And when I say recommend, I mean strongly recommend doing all of these problems. And if you look in our book, there's no question 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll say question 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. So instead of writing that down every time, I just shortened it to 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. All right. So again, I've called all the problems that I think are the most pertinent to our class. And we'll come back to Canvas in just a second. So let's go back to our syllabus here. So other things that are optional materials, molecular models, that is definitely optional. Some students find it really handy to have those once we get to chapter 5, where we start looking at the three-dimensional structure of molecules. They are not required, however. Also, an ACS Organic Chemistry Study Guide. You can click this link here and you can purchase a study guide from the ACS, or the American Chemical Society. It costs $25, I think, or somewhere around there. And I always have a few students in the class who are interested in things like medical school or dental school, or maybe a college of pharmacy or something of that ilk. And if you have that kind of mindset, you're going to be writing a standardized exam in the future, and organic chemistry will be a part of that. exam, and therefore I think it might be a good idea to purchase this study guide, which gives you a great introduction to the type of multiple choice questions that are asked on those exams. And I also use an ACS exam usually for the final exam in this class. All right, I try to post announcements to Canvas regularly, usually every day in the summer, or every 3 days there'll be an announcement. So make sure you check that every single day. Next thing, I have the grading policy. So here's how the course is broken down. We have 13 quizzes. I'll drop your lowest score. I'll drop your one lowest quiz, and I'll talk about that more in a second. And quizzes make up the vast majority of your grade. Homework is 10%, and the final is worth 20%. And then I have the grade scale here. So as far as extra credit, there is none. You cannot skip the final exam. And also the quizzes, what you study for quiz 5, is going to be on quiz 5, of course, but it could also incorporate material from quiz 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So the course is cumulative. And as far as homework assignments go, the homework assignments, let's say for chapter 1, are available right now. Now, there's a due date for those, and you can see the due date in the syllabus, and you can also check the due date on Canvas. And you can submit homework assignments late. That's not a problem. However, the maximum grade that you can get at that point would be 50%. So your grade is cut in half if you submit the homework late. And that just makes it a lot easier for me and other people in the chemistry department. Instead of trying to manage, I've got many students this summer. If everybody wants an extension, it's just very simple. If you submit it late, you get a grade reduction of 50%. Okay, so here's the biggest, area of, I don't want to say contention, but this is something that comes up a lot during the fall and spring semesters. And so there's no makeup quizzes, okay? First of all, none, okay? The second thing is, if you're going to miss a quiz, you should probably try to contact me as soon as possible. Let me know, and you can write it before, okay? And you have to have some kind of documented excuse. It can't be, my sister's wedding or something like that, okay? You have to have a university function, jury duty, military duty, of course. And the next thing is this point right here. This is always a stickler, okay? Is you can miss one quiz. So let's say you're just, I got so many things going on. I missed the due date of the quiz and I can't do it. Can I write it late? Blah, 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 blah. Well, the thing is, my friends, is that eventually I do have to release the quiz, okay? Because most of the students in the class, the vast majority, are going to write it by the due date. And so they want to see their results. So I have to release them electronically. And so if I wait for you for another 8 days or something, or 4 days even, I can't do that because I want to give my students feedback so that they can move forward in the class. So if you do miss a quiz, you can miss one or if you have a missed quiz, you get a score of 0. So you get 0%, but that would count as your dropped quiz. If you miss another one, then you would get a 0 as well, but then that is going to go into your grade. Okay, so you get one missed quiz. Okay, and by the end of the semester, students are coming up with excuse after excuse after excuse, but I will drop one. So 1. If you write all 13, then I'll drop your lowest score. But if you miss one, your lowest score would be a 0, and that, of course, would be your dropped quiz. All right. And then we'll talk more about Respondus Lockdown Browser later on. But if you're in the Colorado Springs area, I would recommend going to the campus library maybe to write your quizzes if you're unsure about Respondus. But again, we'll talk about that more tomorrow probably. All right, so census date is May 19th. So that's the date that you have to withdraw by if you want to get a refund. So that's only in 4 days from now. I'm going to remove this part here. This is not pertinent anymore. So I'm going to actually edit this after class and then repost the syllabus because there's no, I know that some of you probably were aware of this. We used to do this in the chemistry department where you could drop the lecture and stay in the lab, but we're dropping that now. So I'm going to scratch that off. So cross this off again. All right. Course evaluation, Science Center. We can talk about that more later. But if you are in the Colorado Springs area, I don't know what the summer hours are for the Science Center, so I could check on that to see if there's any availability there or not. But there we go. So that's our syllabus. I recommend printing this out. But even more important than that, I recommend printing out the schedule. So here's our schedule for the summer. Here you are on May 15th is our first class. And today we're going to cover chapter 1. We'll probably cover the majority of the chapter today. It's actually a really long chapter, the first chapter. And you can see that quiz 1 is going to be on Thursday, and the first homework is due then as well. So we get right into things immediately in the summer semester, which is an 8-week semester. But the good news is that we're done on July 6th. And so that gives you the remainder of the summer before classes begin in August. All right, so I highly recommend printing out a copy of the schedule and putting it somewhere so that you don't miss any important dates or anything like that. I'm going to see, so here's my lecture notes. I'm going to see if I can go back into Teams here. Let's see, and stop presenting and stop recording.